la communauté congolaise de Champaign County.
Attention, pourquoi tu aimes seulement que les gens t'acclament?
Pour ceux qui se posent la question, où est Dieu? La réponse est qu'il est avec toi.
Vivre ensemble.
Let's start with what we usually do. Voilà, 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 et voilà. So today I'm not starting in French. I will do it in English. So thank you for joining us. As you can see, we changed this place, we changed the studio, we changed this player. We are at different location. I am John Matanda Chipama, you know who I am. So I'm not alone tonight. I'm with someone, a special guest. Hey,
Hi, John.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for letting us come and talk about our community, talking about African people here in the United States. So who are you for those that see you for the first time?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Taiye Winful. I'm a postdoctoral scholar here at UIUC. I'm a biocultural, biological anthropologist, really interested in looking at how life experiences impact health and health outcomes in primarily African diasporic populations. So I'm really happy and excited to be here today, talk with John and talk with all of you about the impacts of stress on health.
Part of stress on Earth. I think that should be speaking in English because she only speaks English. I will translate in French. So tell us about what you do. I mean, why do you think the message you are giving today, that you are bringing today, is important for us as African, as Congolese?
Yes, so I think a lot of the time, just in people's everyday life, they don't, they may be aware but may not be aware that these everyday experiences and the stress that comes along with that can and most oftentimes does impact health, whether it be long term or short term. I think especially also in African or African diasporic populations or African immigrant populations, they also may
Experience?
not that they're not aware of it, but the literature or the research on these specific population is not as prevalent as other populations. So I've really been interested in showcasing the diversity of experiences within African and African immigrant and African diasporic populations, because a lot of the time when people look at these populations, they see one homogenous or monolithic group where we're all the same, so all of our experiences must be the same. But within Africa itself, it's really diverse. Within African people living in the U.S., everybody has these really diverse and different experiences, and these experiences can make certain groups more or less susceptible to poor health and health outcomes.
So let me tell to everyone that is watching us right now to help us to share this live. It's the first time we are having someone. She went to school and she's going to school for it. She's here to help us, and I think after we watch this show, we may have answered to different questions that we may have as African. So why did you get the idea to only base your research on African people? So why didn't you? Because stress is like sickness.
Yeah.
The same way the African can have headache is the same way that people that are not African can have the headache. But why are you only focused on African people?
Yes. So I'm primarily focused on African people for a few reasons. One, I am Nigerian myself, and I was born in Nigeria but did grow up here in the US, and even seeing the different experiences of people or my family themselves coming from Nigeria to the US, these stressful experiences that people are facing, how long term this can cause poor health outcomes. Also, as I sort of mentioned previously, but in the literature or in the research, or even when you go talk to other people or go to the doctor, they're looking at African groups as one like monolithic group. So they're not recognizing the diversity between even somebody Africans in one country. So Nigerian people living in northern Nigeria may be different or have different experiences from Nigerian people living in southern and eastern and western Nigeria. So taking that broadly, that different people have different experiences, and it's important to highlight the diversity within these experiences and within these people and within these cultures. So it's not lost that, oh, we see that this group gets sicker more than this group. This is probably because they are, oftentimes we see they are black, but really there's different cultural experiences or just different everyday life experiences that play into this as well. Oh, and I also want to quickly read the.
No, this, I think this will, I want people to
Okay.
understand, because we talk about stress, we talk about life, we talk about earth every single day,
Yeah.
but it's sometimes confused.
Yeah.
People confused. Maybe they may have a problem and they say, I'm going through stress. And then they may have stress, but they don't know because as they are going through it.
Yeah.
Would you please help, because you as an anthropologist, can you help those people that are watching us now to understand how a person can find himself under stress? How can you explain people that if, for example, you are feeling such thing, or if, for example, you are not feeling good, those are the sign of stress.
Yes. So I would say that one, everybody experiences stress differently, and but common, I would say like common like physical symptoms of stress may be a high blood pressure or feeling these physical symptoms such as like stomach aches, what else, like dizziness, or just feeling this anxious feeling. I think that if you are feeling these symptoms potentially throughout your day or your week when it comes to certain aspects of your life, that may be indicative like, oh, this is causing stress in my life. For example, when I feel stressed, I'm more tired than usual. I would rather sleep than do other things. So it may not just be these physical symptoms such as high blood pressure, clamminess, sweaty. It may be a change in behavior. Typically, you're eating healthy, but for the last few weeks, you've been eating like a lot of sugar, or you've been not exercising as much. So I would say deviations everyday, from your everyday, um,
Routine
yeah,
or
routine may be indicative of, oh, I'm currently feeling stress. So sometimes people don't know, or they don't know, their body may not be telling them that they're stressed, but again, their behaviors might be telling them that they're stressed, like lack of sleep, they're not sleeping as much, or they find themselves not doing things that they typically do to like relieve stress, or just that brighten up their day, and they're not doing those things as often. So stress is experienced differently, but then also how people um, recognize that is also experienced, I would say, differently as well.
so I keep sharing our live show to reach everyone.
Yeah.
So stress is what you are based on. You are doing the research. How long have you been working on that?
Yeah, so I've been working on this for, let's see, my PhD was 6 years. Before that, I did a master's 2 years. So for the last 8 years, I've been working on looking at the diversity of experiences within African diasporic populations, and how in the last 6 years really focused in on stress and how these experiences can impact stress, and then long term, how these stress experiences are impacting health within these groups.
How stress is impacting people in this group. So let me tell you this. We will be talking in English, and then we will switch in French to explain, just to explain to you. So what I will do now, that was the first part, because we need to understand what we are talking about tonight. Understanding stress, how it can affect your earth, understanding stress, how it can change your mood, understanding stress, how it can affect your daily behavior. So let me ask the same question. Now we are pausing. I will ask a question before you read this
Okay.
consent. So I will ask you a question,
Okay.
and then I will ask you to pause a little bit to translate. Give me a time. You can just go ahead and speak in English.
Okay.
I will pause a little bit to just translate for people, because we have some French speaker. No, we have people are watching us all around the world.
Yeah.
So not everyone speaks English.
Okay.
So they speak different languages. So I'm not going in Lingala. I will just start in French.
Okay.
So who are you? Because you just talk about doing your master degree, your PhD 3 years ago, right?
I just graduated with my PhD this summer. So it took me 6 years, but before my PhD, I did a master's before that, which was two
So,
years.
elle vient de terminer son PhD. Elle vient de terminer il y a une année, 1 year, right? You graduate from your PhD.
In the summer, so 6 months ago.
Yes, il y a 6 mois qu'elle vient d'avoir son titre de PhD. Et ça l'a pris 6 ans. Maintenant, elle fait le post-PhD. Now you are doing the post-PhD, right?
Yes.
Maintenant, là, elle fait le après-PhD. So, what's your major? What are you focusing on?
So I'm a biological anthropologist, which is really just incorporating both social and environmental factors and biological or genetic factors to look at the human experience and, in my case, health outcomes and how the human experience can impact health outcomes.
Elle est anthropologiste biologique. Biologiste anthropologiste. Elle se base plus sur le social, comment le social peut affecter les gens, comment l'environnement aussi peut affecter la population. So you have been working that you say for 8 years, right?
Yes.
So elle a travaillé dessus pendant 8 ans. So what's your main goal today? Why you want to talk to our community?
So I'm excited to talk to this community because I think from my past work, I've seen that when working or trying to work with new communities, it's important to first, before just going into community and collecting samples and collecting data, it's important to know how the people who you want to work with, how they are describing stress, how they experience stress, what does stress mean to them? Because going into the field without, or going into a community without knowing that, it's not as beneficial, I think, to the researcher or to the community as well. So I would really just love to know how this specific community defines, experiences, thinks about stress before doing like any research, any future research.
Aujourd'hui, elle est venue plus nous parler sur le stress. Le stress, c'est ça, elle se base sur le stress parce que le stress, ça dérange notre santé mentale comme la santé physique. Et il y a une lettre là qu'elle va lire bientôt. Les études, elles se basent sur, comme je disais, le stress dans le milieu africain, dans le milieu des immigrés africains, le milieu des immigrés noirs. Et comment le stress peut nous impacter. C'est ça, ces études ont fait. Mais maintenant, aujourd'hui, elle est venue nous parler parce que avant que vous puissiez accepter une étude, que ce soit faite sur vous, il faudrait que vous sachiez pourquoi cette étude doit être faite. Quels sont les avantages ou bien qu'est-ce que cette étude est en train de vouloir faire. Voilà, c'est ça l'objectif principal qu'elle vient nous parler parce qu'elle a remarqué qu'il y a des stress qui sont liés par rapport à l'immigration, il y a des stress qui sont liés par rapport au déplacement, il y a des stress que nous, les Africains, nous expérimentons, que les autres n'expérimentent pas. Le déplacement peut te faire des stress. Elle a donné quelques signes de stress. Vous vous sentez fatigué, la tension, high blood pressure, right? La tension, vous n'avez pas de sommeil, par exemple, ou vous dormez pas trop assez, vous devenez nerveux et vous vous sentez fatigué. Ça, ce sont quelques signes qui peuvent vous montrer que vous passez pendant une période de stress. Maintenant, elle fait des études anthropologiques parce que c'est ça son domaine pour voir comment le stress affecte surtout nous, les gens qui sont venus ici. Donc, nous allons continuer à parler en anglais et puis moi, je vais commencer à un moment posé pour parler en français. Je veux que ceux qui nous écoutent aujourd'hui suivent vraiment parce que le stress, c'est un sérieux problème. Ça amène même des gens à avoir des troubles de tête qui amènent presque à la folie. Et elle fait des enquêtes sur ça, elle fait des recherches sur ça. C'est même la raison pour laquelle on est là aujourd'hui parce qu'on viendra dans vos maisons pour ces recherches. Okay, I was trying to summarize everything you say in English and to say it in French. So now let's go. Today you have the cover letter. So before you go to that, how your study will be done. So you will call people over the phone and say, hey, I want to ask you some question. Did you came from Congo? So how do you manage your stress being in America? Or what will you do to make this happen? Will you be calling people or you are going to see people in person?
Well, so I would say the purpose of this talk right now is to through this Facebook live to understand how people are perceiving and thinking about stress. So once we get this general idea of how this community is thinking about stress, at the end of the talk, there will be a link to fill out if you are potentially interested.
I already shared that link.
Okay, perfect. In participating in a future iteration of this study, which will actually, depending on if people are interested who are not available here in the larger Urbana-Champaign area, there could be a way to do like mail in or call those people. For people who are available here in Urbana-Champaign, really going to the people who are interested and asking them these questions, well, future questions based on this conversation today.
Donc, l'objectif du direct d'aujourd'hui, c'est vous dire comment, ou faire les enquêtes, vous dire qu'il y a les enquêtes qui vont se faire, parce qu'elle fait ces enquêtes-là, pour voir comment nous, la population noire, nous manageons notre stress. Et cette recherche se fera, ou ces recherches se feront, soit en ligne si vous êtes loin, ou bien en personne. Si vous êtes à Champaign-Urbana, elle va venir vers vous, elle va vous parler. Et puis, il y aura une forme de consentement. D'ailleurs, c'est ça, je crois que je partageais ça. Il y aura une forme de consentement expliquant ce qu'on veut de vous. Et si vous consentez qu'on puisse faire, comment vous ménagez vos stress? Parce qu'il y a des gens qui ont des stress ici. Des stress de boulot. Des stress, that will be your question because I'm explaining the thing that you didn't say. So I know that you've been talking to different people.
Yes.
So what did you notice that can cause the stress in African community, especially those that just arrived?
Well, so actually,
what's your finding on that?
Yeah, so actually, this is my first conversation. I'm having a conversation tomorrow with the Nigerian community here in Urbana-Champaign. So I can't answer that yet, but for my dissertation work, I was in Nigeria and I was able to talk to people there about what makes them stress, how they think about stress. And a lot of the time for the people that I was able to talk with, their main stressors were dealing with like financial related issues such as of course like work, and then at the time when I was there, the naira, which is the Nigerian currency, and the dollar rate was it was getting pretty high back then, and since then it's even increased more. So there's just a lot of stress around these financial situations, which going in I was initially looking at like emotional aspects of stress, but then when I got there talking with people, they were more concerned about these financial aspects. So I'm trying to make sure when I do this work again, like I don't have these issues, because before I go into a population, really understanding how the people in the population are thinking about and experiencing their stress first before picking different ways to measure that stress.
La question, c'était de savoir les études qu'elle a faites, quelles sont les causes qu'elle croit qu'ici, ça affecte ou bien ça déclenche les stress, surtout chez les immigrés. Elle a dit que demain, elle va se rencontrer avec la population nigérienne ici. Elle va parler aussi avec la communauté nigérienne. Et elle ne sait pas encore trop répondre par cette question parce que là, c'est son premier direct qu'on est en train de faire. C'est sa première fois qu'elle se base de ça. Mais selon sa dissertation qu'elle avait faite, elle est partie au Nigeria pour faire des études comme ça. Elle a trouvé qu'au Nigeria, les gens sont plus stressés par rapport à l'argent, les coûts de la vie et l'argent aussi, surtout les naira. Naira qui est la monnaie nigérienne. Quand elle était partie là-bas pour ses études, elle a trouvé que les taux de change des naira, c'était devenu, ça avait vraiment varié et les gens étaient plus concernés par ça, l'argent, le travail et puis le coût de la vie. Voilà. So, Now, let's talk now about your study. Let's talk about what you want to do here in Champaign, Illinois.
Okay.
So before you read the consent letter, I would like you to explain those people that are watching us now or that can watch in the future. Explain the purpose of your study, what you want to go do in those people's house, what you want to talk to them. So
Okay.
what's the goal after you do your research? What's the goal of your research
Okay. So I
or
would
the purpose of your research?
Okay, so I would break this up into two different goals or two different phases of my research. The current, like what we're doing now, I would say is phase one, again, understanding how people think about stress. The next phase of this project would be after getting insight into how this specific community, along with the other community I'm working with, thinks about stress. They're also the African immigrant population, picking out different mechanisms based on these conversations to one, understand, to best understand stress. So from there, people who would be interested in participating in a study like this would fill out surveys, answer some questions about how they're experiencing stress, which would be more tailored to their actual experiences because of conversations like this. And then they would also give, which we'll talk about later in this conversation today, but give saliva samples. Saliva samples, I'm interested personally in inflammation, can help to measure inflammation in the body. Typically, increased inflammation um, is a precursor to poor health outcomes.
So that means only with the saliva you can have information about people.
Yes, so saliva can actually give you a lot of genetic and biomarker related information. Like, for example, when I went to Nigeria, I collected saliva samples from participants and I was able to look at biomarkers, which are basically just, but I would say biomarkers are how you can take and account for like like um, different variables in the body. So, like, for example, when you go to the doctor and they look at, let's say, like vitamin C levels, or like that's a biomarker that's indicative of your health. So, inflammation is a biomarker that can help indicate health status. So, I use saliva to look at inflammation, both like as a biomarker of inflammation, but also looking at genetic variation as well. So saliva can tell you a lot of information about somebody's health, somebody's genetics, which is what I'm interested in. And then the genetic aspect of it is also related to inflammation as well.
Ok, ce qu'elle disait ici, elle disait que quand elle est partie par exemple au Nigeria, c'était la salive. Donc la salive contient beaucoup d'informations sur des personnes. Et la salive, c'est quand vous collectez la salive, elle vous donnera les informations génétiques, elle vous donnera beaucoup d'informations même sur la santé de la personne. Et c'est comme ça qu'elle pense aussi faire la collecte des salives ici. C'est juste pour avoir les informations biologiques par rapport au stress. Comment les gens sont stressés, surtout les gens de notre couleur, parce que son étude est plus basée sur notre couleur. Et en plus de cela, je dois dire ceci, elle fait le post-doctorat. Donc, elle fait le post-PhD. Elle a déjà son PhD, maintenant elle fait le post-PhD et elle se spécialise dans l'anthropologie biologique. C'est ça. Donc, vous savez que l'anthropologie, c'est l'étude des personnes, mais c'est nous ici, sur nous, elle veut faire les recherches. So, how many people are you expecting to have?
So I would say for that part of the study, really open to whoever is interested in the study. If I had to say a number, getting around at least 40 people to participate would be amazing. But again, whoever is open and wanting to learn more about how their stress is impacting their health, I would never say no to more people.
Elle veut avoir au moins 40 personnes, mais elle ne peut pas refuser aussi à ces personnes qui voudraient connaître combien ou comment leur stress peut affecter leur santé. Donc, les études qu'elle fait dans votre salive, elle retrouvera comment votre stress peut affecter votre santé. Il y a les gens à cause de stress, ils sont devenus paralysés. Il y a des gens à cause de stress, la tête a sauté. Il y a les gens, et puis nous avons des différentes sortes de stress. So now you are talking about having 40 people. Do you have a range of age or anyone can come? I have my son can come. He's 5 years old, for example, and say, hey, he's one of the person that we want to know how that can affect their earth.
I think for right now, like where I am in my research, it would just be anybody over the age of 18 would be welcomed to join.
So, pour le moment, ces recherches sont focalisées sur tout le monde qui a au-delà de 18 ans. Au-delà de 18 ans. Et ça sera seulement la salive. Elle va venir, elle collecte la salive. Et puis, vous l'envoyez, elle va dans les laboratoires pour faire ça. Donc, vous avez au-delà de 18 ans, je sais qu'il y a beaucoup de stress ici. Le stress de mariage, le stress d'argent, le stress des enfants qui n'écoutent pas, le stress de ceci. Mais peut-être ces études peuvent vous aider à comment vous pouvez manager ou bien contrôler votre stress. So, we here talking about the stress. I know that people have been dealing with that. People can the language barrier. The language can be one of them because
Yeah.
people are struggling, people are stressing. They know that they will go to work where they don't even know how to speak it. The children too, they don't respect, they don't listen. You know, African, you come from Africa, you know how we. So
Yeah.
here maybe people have different reasons to stress out. So you say here, you early say that people, you can talk to people over the phone, but how can you collect the simple? For example, I'm living in Galesburg, which is 2 hours from here. So how do you think you will collect? You can talk to me, but what about the sample?
Yeah, so for this second phase of the study, there will be, depending on if people are interested with that, with one of those two forms that's in the chat. Depending on if people are interested who are out of state, there is a way to do mail-in samples. I also just want to mention that if it's possible for in the chat right now to have people talk about like what their major stressors are potentially.
Do you think they maybe some people? Okay, I know what I will tell them. Okay,
Okay.
because you know if I'm stressed out, I can't tell people. For example, I'm stressing because I have I don't know what a genetic issue with my body. You see, that people can say that.
Yeah, I think
I stress because my wife we don't sleep in the same bed anymore. I can't say that. People won't say that online.
yeah, they won't and don't have to. I do want to briefly say that anything that's shared today, because this is a live, can be seen through other people. So share what you're comfortable, but putting vague responses, for example, when asking how do you describe stress, it could be like familial stress. So just broad, like categorical responses like that, or environmental stress, and we can go through some examples of
Yes, I will.
these
So let me
as
say
well.
it. Bon, je voulais demander à ceux qui nous suivent maintenant ou ceux qui nous suivront après, s'il vous plaît, dans le commentaire, écrivez ce que vous remarquez ou vous pensez qui peut plus être la cause de stress. Qu'est-ce qui cause plus le stress? Est-ce que c'est l'environnement? Est-ce que ce sont les enfants? Est-ce que, s'il vous plaît, dans le commentaire, vous habitez ici à Champaign-Urbana, vous habitez partout où vous habitez, je vous prie de nous écrire dans le commentaire, pas vous peut-être, parce qu'il y a des choses qui sont secrètes, nous dire simplement que ce qui cause plus le stress, ça peut être par exemple le problème de facture, par exemple, le problème de femme ou de mari, le problème des enfants, le problème d'argent, le problème de la langue, le problème de la famille au Congo, il faut que je demande, on me demande l'argent. Dans les commentaires, juste écrivez-nous par exemple ce qui cause plus de stress ou bien selon ce que nous avons appris, le stress est plus causé par ça. Parce que ça, c'est la première phase d'étude. La première phase, c'est collecter des données pour savoir qu'est-ce qui cause plus de stress. Ceux qui ne veulent pas directement parler, on ne dit pas que c'est vous. Vous êtes aussi entouré de gens. Vous connaissez aussi des gens qui font du stress. Que vous puissiez simplement nous dire ce qui cause plus, ce que vous pensez qui cause plus de stress. Écrivez-nous dans le commentaire parce que la deuxième phase, ça sera qu'elle viendra vers nous. L'objectif, c'est pour nous aider parce que nous avons des différentes sortes de stress. Il y en a qui stressent à cause de l'argent. Il y en a qui stressent à cause de la langue. Il y en a aussi qui partent au boulot là-bas, leur chef le parlent comme des enfants, ils stressent. Il y en a aussi à la maison, ils ne dorment pas parce que la femme, le problème chaque jour, le mari, le problème. Il y a des factures à gauche, à droite, il y a des dettes qu'on a prises. En fait, dites-nous seulement dans les commentaires qu'est-ce qui vous cause plus de stress, comme ça on peut évoluer. Elle parlera en anglais, je parlerai en français. So what I want to do is, can you please go over this, explain everything? I will just summarize in French.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I was
So,
telling people to write in the comments.
oh, perfect.
Yeah, l'environnement. So I have Madame Marie Moulinga say environment.
Okay.
So
Great.
I will get the door. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. So before I get into these different examples of stress, I briefly just want to go over this consent form, which again, the process of this research, the purpose of this research study is to understand how stress is experienced, perceived, and defined in this population. I'm interested in learning more about how everyday stress affects the body, especially how this might lead to increased inflammation. So in this first phase, again, we're looking at to identify what causes stress in this community and find out what might be who might be interested in the more in-depth study that we've been talking a lot about in phase 2. So this interactive session, we're really now going to get into talking about these different stressors. And again, I just really want to highlight that whatever you share in the comments, while people should respect privacy, everybody can see this is on Facebook Live, so please only share what you are comfortable with. And if you have any questions or concerns, my email, phone number, any way you need to want to contact me is on this consent form, which should be in the link, but we will share it again if it's not.
And then, it's there already.
Okay, perfect. So it is there. So anybody has questions after this?
Donc, l'objectif de ces directs d'aujourd'hui, c'est d'abord collecter les données par rapport à qu'est-ce qui cause plus le stress. Qu'est-ce qui vous cause plus le stress? Et c'est vrai que ça, c'est un live, c'est en direct. Ça sera compliqué pour que vous puissiez peut-être partager ce qui vous cause à vous-même le stress. Papa consolateur de la France où vous nous suivez, nous vous disons shalom aussi. Voilà, donc je disais que ici nous sommes en direct. Peut-être que ça ne permettrait pas que vous puissiez partager votre expérience personnelle, mais il y a un lien. Si vous regardez dans les commentaires, j'ai posté un lien là-bas. They can open this, right? Oh, can you try to open it?
Yeah, let me try on.
Donc, il y a des stress que nous expérimentons. Et il ne faudrait pas que vous écrivez ce que vous ne pouvez pas partager, mais elle veut simplement, elle veut avoir un peu d'idée, que vous puissiez écrire simplement ce que vous pouvez partager. Ça veut dire, si par exemple vous expérimentez le stress par rapport à votre problème de santé, il y a des santé aussi, c'est ce qu'elle a dit au début, il y a des maladies qui affectent notre santé, qui sont causées par le stress. Le stress peut affecter vraiment négativement notre santé. Il y a la santé aussi, ça peut nous créer des stress. Le problème qu'on a, vous manquez d'argent, vous n'avez pas ceci. Donc, dites-nous dans les commentaires, parce que ça, c'est la première phase, qu'est-ce qui cause plus le stress. Si vous pensez que vous ne pouvez pas partager comme ça, vous regardez dans les commentaires, il y a un lien que you can go to the Facebook. Yes, yes, right there. You can see it.
I don't know why it's not popping.
It's not. What about your computer?
That's what I was trying.
So, vous allez dans les liens. Il y a un lien là que je viens de partager dans les commentaires. C'est un lien Google. Il y a ce papier ici, là, le papier de consentement. Vous allez voir ici, au paragraphe 4, c'est écrit, si vous avez des questions ou bien autre chose, vous pouvez appeler le docteur Taiye Winful, le département d'anthropologie plutôt, Université de Champaign-Urbana. C'est docteur, nous avons notre docteur à côté ici. No, this is the page.
Oh, yeah, this is the one.
No, that. Please, can you... Hold on. Yes. Donnez-nous juste une minute. Nous sommes en train de vérifier si ici nous pouvons ouvrir. OK. Donc, nous sommes en train de voir si nous pouvons ouvrir ici. Comme ça, on va... Non. OK, I will send you the link. OK, donc je disais que Vous pouvez envoyer dans le commentaire ce qui pose vraiment votre stress. Comme ça, le docteur pourra, je vais l'envoyer ça, le docteur pourra nous en dire davantage. Le docteur pourra nous en dire davantage. Donc, ne dites pas ce que vous n'allez pas partager. Dites simplement ce que I just share with you. Go to your Facebook, your
Messages.
no here to your
Oh, WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. So I think we should be friends here.
Yeah, I thought we were. I see it.
Is it Winful?
Yep.
Why I don't see you?
Oh, perfect. I see it.
Yes, just is it there right?
Yes.
They can open it. So, il y a une forme là, une forme de consentement. Vous pouvez lire là-bas, il y a son numéro de téléphone, Dr. Taiye. Elle est ici à l'Université d'Illinois. C'est là qu'on est d'ailleurs. On est dans la bibliothèque, une grande bibliothèque. So I would like you to go over all those. And then once you finish, I can explain them.
Okay.
I was trying to tell them that they can go on the comment. And there is a form. If they go to the form, they can open it. It's got your information.
Yes.
It's got your phone number. It's got your email address. If they have any more questions, they have questions, they can.
And then also this form is the one to gauge interest after the
So you can just put it.
talk. Yes.
OK. Voilà. Nous allons continuer. Elle va maintenant nous présenter ses études. Son étude est basée sur l'anthropologie biologique. Ça veut dire qu'elle veut savoir quelles sont les causes des stress chez nous les Africains, chez nous les immigrés africains, et comment ça nous affecte, Voilà.
Yes. So the first question I would love for people to answer is, how do they describe stress? What words do they use? And typically what things make them stressed? So if they could write that in the chat, if possible.
Donc, la première chose qu'elle voudrait que nous puissions dire, c'est que comment nous définissons les stress? How they define it?
Yeah, how do they describe it? What words do they typically use when they're stressed?
Et quels sont les mots que vous utilisez ou quel est le mot que vous utilisez quand vous êtes stressé? Donc, si vous pouvez écrire ça dans les commentaires, peut-être si vous ne pouvez pas écrire maintenant, vous pouvez même l'appeler après. Je vois que nous avons à peu près 12 personnes connectées, ça veut dire qu'on peut avoir 12 commentaires. Alors, comment vous définissez le stress et quels sont les mots que vous sortez quand vous êtes stressé?
Yeah. Yes, great. And then also what things make them feel stressed?
Qu'est-ce qui vous donne le stress? Ou bien qu'est-ce qui vous fait stresser?
Yes. So while people are writing that in the comments, I can just quickly we've talked about some of these things, but these common stressors. So there's a lot of literature on stress and health. We know that people who experience constant and chronic exposures to stress are more likely to have poorer health outcomes. And today I've really tried to categorize these stressors into 7 different categories. So social and cultural stressors, financial stressors, personal stressors, psychological stressors, acculturative stressors, environmental stressors, and daily stressors.
So I can say that in French too. Okay. Maintenant, elle a catégorisé les stress ou bien les causes selon ses recherches. Elle a catégorisé ça en 7. Le premier, c'est le stress social et culturel. Le deuxième, c'est le stress financier. Le troisième, c'est le stress personnel. Le quatrième, c'est le stress psychologique. Le cinquième, c'est le stress acculturatif. Le sixième, c'est le stress environnemental. Et le dernier, c'est le stress journalier. Ce sont les quelques stress que les gens expérimentent selon ces recherches.
So I really wanted to get into some of these specific stressors under these categories, because again, a lot of the time people may not realize that just every day they're experiencing stress, which they may or may not know. So social and cultural stressors may be like adapting to a new environment, language barriers, as John has already mentioned, perceived discrimination or racism, lack of social support, which is can be particularly prevalent or important for people moving to different communities or different countries. When you come somewhere new, finding that social support system is a major stressor in a lot of lives, and that there's a lot of literature looking at how social support impacts stress and health outcomes after the fact, and then also these interpersonal difficulties as well as like trying to connect with other people.
Le stress social et culturel, c'est plus causé par s'adapter dans un milieu, l'adaptation environnementale, la barrière de langage, dont vous ne savez pas une langue dans un milieu où vous êtes, la discrimination ou bien les racismes, le manque de support social, aussi les difficultés personnelles.
Great. So I think financial stress is common and a significant concern for many individuals. So this could include debt and these financial related difficulties, or also just concerns about finances in general. For example, I'll just give one. Financial difficulties can limit one's ability to visit family, potentially causing the straining relationship and reducing access to these crucial support systems that we just sort of mentioned.
So someone read by Yuna Kawele, I'm sorry, I will translate that.
Okay.
She said that she experiments stress when she want to do something, but she's not able to.
Yes.
When she's limited, when you can want to do something, but you are not that, you don't have that ability to do it.
Like because of lack of resources or financial, or just because.
Let me ask her. Maman Ruth, vous avez dit lorsque vous voulez faire quelque chose, mais vous êtes dans l'incapacité. Incapacité physique, incapacité financière, ou bien quel genre d'incapacité? Thank you. Voilà, le deuxième stress qu'elle était en train d'expliquer ici, c'était le stress financier, comme elle a mentionné ici, que moi, je l'avais déjà dit. Le stress financier peut être causé par les dettes financières, des dettes plutôt financières, ou bien des difficultés financières, et aussi de vous préoccuper, des préoccupations par rapport aux finances.
So psychological stressors, such as poor life-work balance. Well, let me list a few first, but financial issues or pressure, or family issues or pressure, relationship problems, parental relationships, physical health issues, or poor work-life balance, or as also John mentioned, the issue with potentially children.
Yes.
Nowadays, those can also cause stress and contribute to increased stress levels.
So, le stress personnel peut être causé par le problème de famille ou la pression de famille. Ça peut aussi être du côté des relations, le problème relationnel, aussi le problème parental. Vous avez un problème de relation parentale. Aussi, ça peut être causé par la santé physique. Un problème physique, ça peut vous amener au stress qu'on appelle le stress personnel, ou encore vous n'arrivez pas à balancer la vie. Comment il faut équilibrer l'équilibre de la vie. Voilà.
So psychological stressors, and this is what, when I first went to Nigeria, this is what I was focusing on. But then again, after going there, I should have been, I think, focusing on more financial related stressors. But anxiety, depression, burnout, or compassion fatigue are linked to chronic stress through it's really dysregulating these biological systems in your body, and constant dysregulation, of course, is not good for your health. So that's really how we can see how just feeling anxious or feeling depressed can cause poor health outcomes long term through stress.
Le stress psychologique, c'est plus causé par l'anxiété, la dépression et aussi la compassion de fatigue, la fatigue. Donc, vous n'arrivez pas à vous reposer suffisamment. Ça vous crée des fatigues répétées qui peuvent vous amener à des stress psychologiques.
So, acculturative stressors, such as adjusting to a new environment, can be a significant source of stress, as it often involves navigating unfamiliar social norms and coping with cultural differences, which can lead to feelings of isolation and anxiety, along with homesickness as well.
So, le stress occultatif est causé par l'ajustement quand vous voulez vous adapter à un nouveau environnement culturellement ou bien environnemental, ou encore si vous avez des maladies à la maison, par exemple. Il y a des gens qui sont malades, ça peut aussi vous causer le stress qu'on appelle occultatif. Voilà.
So environmental stressors that sometimes people may or may not think about, but like air pollution, poor air quality, having excessive or not enough light, especially exposures to toxic substances or pollutants, crime and safety concerns are major stressors. Like for example, me, I get one thing I've noticed since moving here is where I live, coming to my apartment, there's not a lot of light, and that causes me like a lot of stress because I don't like. To me, it's just stressful. So, I think that's just something that people may or may not think about. Just even light and the environment around you, having too much or having too little of it can be a stressor that can, an environmental stressor that long term really can and has been shown to impact your health.
I will start with what you just said.
Okay.
So, elle a donné par exemple son exemple. Là, nous sommes dans le stress environnemental. Le stress environnemental est causé, par exemple, elle a remarqué quand elle est venue dans son nouveau appartement ici à Champaign-Urbana, il n'y a pas assez de lumière. Et cette absence d'assez de lumière, ça la cause de stress. Elle dit que le stress environnemental, ce sont des choses qui nous arrivent que nous ne faisons pas tellement attention. Et ça peut nous amener à des stress que nous ne contrôlons pas. Et le stress environnemental, les éléments qui peuvent déclencher ça, par exemple, la pollution de l'air ou bien l'air n'est pas pur. Aussi, la lumière, par exemple, comme elle a donné son exemple, la lumière qui n'est pas suffisante chez vous là-bas, vous vous exposez à des substances toxiques ou à la pollution, des crimes, vous avez peur de votre sécurité dans l'environnement, la peur de l'environnement, ça peut aussi vous amener ça. Vous n'avez pas accès à l'espace vert, là où vous êtes dans une bonne nature, ça peut aussi vous créez ce qu'on appelle le stress environnemental. Vous avez aussi problème de nourriture. Vous n'avez pas assez de nourriture qui ne vous permet pas que votre santé puisse bien fonctionner. Vous n'avez pas les transports. Vous savez qu'il fait froid, par exemple, dehors. Vous n'avez pas un transport. Ça peut vous créer le stress. Vous appelez quelqu'un qui ne vient pas vous chercher, tout ça, ça peut vous créer des stress. Ou bien, vous êtes limité d'aller à des hôpitaux ou des endroits de santé. Vous êtes limité, vous ne savez pas aller à d'autres soins, par exemple. Ça peut aussi vous créer des stress qu'on appelle le stress environnemental.
And then lastly, just rounding up some daily stressors that people are more likely to experience every day, such as traffic, just minor frustrations that you go through the day. For example, if your bus is delayed, or if the grocery stores or the stores you go to are crowded, doing chores like laundry or cleaning, which maybe that's for the kids. That makes them stress. Having these minor health issues can and does cause stress, more than to just to you, but to your family as well, and just maybe the stress of having to go and attend like medical appointments, and just managing like these health related issues can just be a daily stressor that people are experiencing.
Voilà, les stress journaliers, la catégorisation ou bien ce qui peut créer ce qu'on appelle le stress journalier, c'est par exemple, vous êtes dans ceux qui sont au Congo par exemple, vous êtes dans les embouteillages. Les embouteillages, ça peut vous créer des stress qu'on appelle le stress journalier. Les frustrations de chaque jour, les frustrations mineures de chaque jour. Aussi, quand vous êtes, par exemple, vous prenez un transport en commun, vous arrivez, il n'y a pas de transport. Ça peut aussi être classé parmi les stress journaliers. vous n'avez pas assez d'argent ou bien le moyen pour aller faire de courses. Vous voulez acheter des choses, vous voulez aller vous voulez faire des courses d'achat de maison, par exemple, mais vous n'avez pas assez de moyens. Ça peut vous créer ce qu'on appelle le stress journalier. Aussi, le travail, ça c'est plus pour les enfants. On vous dit par exemple, il faut nettoyer chaque fois que vous finissez de manger, par exemple. Il faut faire le lavage de vos habits, les laundries. Ça peut aussi vous créer ça. Le, le rhume, par exemple, le mot de tête, ce sont des stress qu'on appelle des stress journaliers. Il y a, vous avez oublié un rendez-vous médical ou bien vous voulez prendre un rendez-vous médical et le rendez-vous ne vient pas. Ça peut aussi vous créer un stress qu'on appelle le stress journalier. Aussi, comment vous pouvez manager votre condition sanitaire qui est chronique. La santé chronique, comment vous pouvez manager ça, ça peut vous amener à ça aussi. Ou des dépenses que vous n'avez pas programmées. Vous voulez comme ça, les pneus de la voiture, pap, ça pète. Vous n'avez pas programmé ça. Par exemple, aussi, votre enfant a cassé la télévision. Vous n'avez pas programmé ça. Ça peut aussi vous créer des stress. Aussi, comment budgétiser les dettes. Vous avez des dettes, vous ne savez pas comment budgétiser ça. Ça peut aussi créer qu'on appelle le stress journalier. Voilà.
Great. And would love to ask the chat if they think anything's missing or we didn't cover any of these stressors or what is most important to them.
Voilà. Ce qu'elle veut dans les commentaires, est-ce que vous pensez que tout ce que la catégorisation des stress et puis les agents causaux ou bien les causes de ces stress-là ont été repris? Si oui, alors dites-nous. Et sinon, dites-nous ce que vous pensez qui manque et ce que vous pensez que l'on peut ajouter. Mais du moins, ça, ce sont les catégorisations de stress et ce qui les cause. Voilà.
Great. So we've talked about this, but again, just trying to connect stress to health. So how does this occur? So stress impacts your health through heart health, immune health, and also mental health.
Donc, le stress, on a déjà parlé de ça, mais elle voulait encore nous montrer comment le stress s'est connecté à notre santé mentale, notre santé physique et puis notre cœur. Le stress, ça affecte aussi notre cœur.
Yes. So, for example, stress can increase heart rate and blood pressure, putting extra strain on your cardiovascular system. It can also raise your risk of heart disease. Second, stress can suppress the immune system, making it harder to fight infections and increase inflammation, which we briefly talked about. And also, mentally, stress can contribute to anxiety, depression, and also just have this overall negative impact on your well-being and emotional resilience.
Le stress, ça peut accélérer votre rythme cardiaque et qui peut vous amener à l'hypertension. Ça pousse aussi ça pousse aussi que le sang puisse beaucoup être poussé dans les veines et qui peut vous provoquer des maladies cardiovasculaires.
Yes. So just for example, again, looking at stress and cardiovascular health, stress is linked to increased heart rate and blood pressure. These long-term effects of chronic stress can lead to hypertension, also increase your risk of heart disease, heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular illnesses.
Voilà, des maladies cardiovasculaires, comme je l'ai dit.
So stress can exacerbate autoimmune diseases, which is basically when the body attacks its own tissues, leading to flare-up. Really, stress lowers the body's ability to fight infections and disease. Chronic stress can make people more prone to colds, infections, slower recovery times. So in the beginning, you asked, what are some ways people might know they're stressed? If they find themselves getting sicker more often, or getting maybe more infections, or their recovery just taking longer. that could also be indicative of they potentially could be very stressed.
So I have someone here says that everything that you mentioned is correct. And
Yeah.
okay, so they don't have anything to add.
Okay.
So, yeah. Elle a dit ceci, les indicatifs de stress, peut-être que vous allez vous voir que, can you repeat again? Stress lower the body ability, the one you just mentioned.
Yeah, it lowers the body's ability to fight off colds,
Yeah.
infections, and
Donc,
recovery time.
les indicatifs de stress, vous pouvez voir, par exemple, votre corps ne répond plus bien. Vous avez beaucoup d'infections. Vous avez,
Colds.
vous avez des infections, vous avez des rhumes qui vous dérangent, des rhumes chroniques. Vous avez, même si vous êtes malade, par exemple, pour que vous puissiez le temps pour vous guérir, ça prend longtemps pour que ça puisse guérir. Ça, ce sont les indicatifs de stress.
And lastly, people under chronic stress often feel overwhelmed, fatigued, and may have trouble sleeping. So stress really increases the risk of mental health issues, again, like anxiety, depression, and irritability. So that could also be indicative if you're feeling yourself more anxious, more depressed, even more irritable. A lot of the times people may not know that feeling more irritable could mean that you are actually currently very stressed as well.
Ben, pourquoi c'est important? Parce que c'est important de contrôler votre stress parce que le stress augmente le risque de votre santé mentale, donc d'avoir un problème mental, aussi l'anxiété et aussi la dépression ou l'irritabilité. Vous vous irritez comme ça, dans le vide, comme ça, facilement, vous pouvez vous irriter. Voilà. Si vous êtes prolongé, vous prolongez au stress, vous ne voulez pas les contrôler, ça peut faire qu'il y ait un déséquilibre de votre mémoire, vous n'allez plus bien vous concentrer et puis ça va même affecter vos décisions.
Perfect. So we've already talked about how we can measure stress in the body using saliva, which is what I typically use to measure stress in the body with biomarkers. And again, biomarkers are ways to collect samples from people that can be indicative of someone's health status overall.
So there is another person here, I think that is connected from Iowa City.
Okay.
He's on Sioux, Iowa. He says this, Jack Love NZD. Thank you so much. It's in French, but I will read it in English. He says that, Papa John, there are some other kind of stress that's caused by the friend. You may have a very close friend, a very best friend of you, and then at some point, you are no friend anymore, missing someone who used to be close to you, being disconnected to this relationship, to someone that is close to you, like a friend, missing that friend. It didn't say that friend may die, sometimes you may have problem with your friend and say, hey, for now, I will step down. I don't want to go with you anymore. See, this kind of stress maybe that we'd like you to mention.
Yeah, so I think that may go into when we briefly talked about, I think, personal stressors that could be family, relationship, parental, or especially social support, I would say. So losing friends or losing people that you like want to connect with, and they make you feel that you're part of a larger community. There's a lot of research that shows that examples like this do really have an influence on people's health, especially long term. So I think that's a great example that he just said.
So, Papa Jacques Love, il dit que c'est vraiment un bon exemple. Ça va dans le cadre
The Funk Library and building will be closing in 25 minutes at 6:55. All library materials must be charged out within the next 15 minutes.
Voilà.
All patrons must be out of the building at closing time.
Voilà, comprenez que nous sommes dans la bibliothèque de UVI, un très bon endroit. I'm telling people that we are in the library. It's a very nice place. Thank you for bringing me here. Thank you so much. It's a very nice place. I think next time I will come here and make this live show. I don't need those lights. I used to have light.
There's the ring cam too. You can use.
That's this.
It's good.
Do you have a ring cam here?
Yeah, I have a ring cam.
Do you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ok, voilà. Donc, Elle disait ceci que Papa Jacques Love, ça doit être dans le cadre de stress. What stress was it again?
It was sorry, personal stressors.
Yes, c'est dans le cadre de stress personnel qui est lié à l'amitié, à tout ce qui est de famille, ainsi de suite. Donc, nous allons terminer bientôt. We are about to finish, but I'm asking everyone that as a question. If you have a question, please feel free to go in the comments. There is a link. I share that link. So you can go in the comments. You will have the doctor's personal phone number. Don't call. She's married, please. Because people will be like, no, I don't have your answer. Yes. So ask question related to stress. Ask question related to your mental health. See? So you have the doctor's personal number in the link. Go ahead and call her because I know that not everyone is comfortable to comment online, and then commenting online, maybe you have a lot of to say, and then the space is not enough. So feel free to call the doctor. Feel free to email her. She's here at UVI. Maybe she may advise you. You want to come to UVI and you don't know where to start. She may help you. Yes. But now the next goal will be she will teach me Nigerian. How? What language they speak? I know that they do speak English.
Igbo, Yoruba, but English is
Yoruba.
Yeah.
Yoruba will be the best one. Okay. Next time I will come, we'll do the show in Yoruba.
Maybe.
Okay? Get prepared.
The last thing I want to say is in the link that I shared on there.
Yeah.
It's just having people fill it out to gauge their interest, but there's also a part where they can order these stressors for what's most and least important to them, which would be really helpful. And I'll
So do you allow me to read another comment here?
Yes.
So I have Mama Rita Beyume Kawele. She said this is a very good topic because people suffer from stress, especially women.
I mean, I think that
when they have the younger kids, especially women, when they have a younger kid at home, they really suffer from.
I think based on the research that I've done, that typically women do show with these biomarkers. For example, I looked at inflammation differences in Nigeria, and women did have higher inflammation with the biomarker that I looked at compared to men. Even though stress measured with the survey that I use really varied by region, but with the biomarker itself, women had elevated inflammation, which is a precursor to poorer health outcomes.
Thank you. So I will do this. I will let you maybe explain everything that you want.
Yes.
We have to go out here. They told us to go.
Yes.
And tell them everything you want. Maybe people will call you later.
No problem.
And then tell them that you will keep secret.
Yes.
Confidentiality. You will not share the information. They will keep is yes.
Yes.
I won't even be there. If you want a translator, it would be another translator. If you want me to be with her, I will. We will give you a call. And then if you want to share about your stress, please call Dr. Taiye. The phone number is in there in the comments. I don't want to say it aloud. If she allow me, I can say it aloud.
Well, it's in the comments. I just added something that I hope people can fill out again to order these stressors from most to least. For that.
Elle vient d'ajouter un lien. Vous pouvez, si vous allez là-bas, vous pouvez demander les causes de stress. C'est là-bas. Voilà, le numéro du docteur, do you want me to share it? Say it aloud, your doctor number.
Well, I mean, you can because it's in the chat, so it doesn't matter.
Some people don't read it, but they...
No, but then they should. No, because they should, because if they have any questions, concerns, or interested in possibly being in phase 2 of the study, but again, please, you can share the number, but please have them, if they're interested, just to fill out this form and rank like their stress 1 through 7.
Voilà, il y a une forme là de stress. S'il vous plaît, vous pouvez aller dans le commentaire, remplissez ça. Ça, c'est la première phase de ces études. Je passerai encore pour vous rappeler. Et de 1 à 7, appuyer ces questions-là. On a au moins besoin de 40 personnes. D'ailleurs, on peut aller au-delà. Les stress, je connais dans la communauté, on a des stress chaque fois. Ça, c'est la première phase, ce qui concerne de collecter les agents causaux de stress. Et la deuxième phase, ce sera celle de venir prendre des salives pour voir comment ça affecte votre santé physique et mentale. Le numéro du docteur Taiye, c'est 763 516 69 52. 563 516 69 52. Son email, c'est Winful, OWINFUL @illinois.edu. Edu comme éducation. D'ailleurs, ces informations, vous allez dans les liens qu'on a partagés, ce sont des liens qui sont fiables. Ça vient de Taiye, ça vient de John, ça vient de la communauté, donc ce sont des liens qui sont fiables. Let me say thank you so much. I think today I found myself under the stress. So I will be
not from the talk though, not from this.
Not from this.
Okay, good.
Stress, sometimes you may be stressed when you are doing the live show and people keep asking you questions, interacting with your idea and reading, try to respond to people. That can stress you as well.
True.
Be behind, like today I came that I couldn't find where you were. So that's going to be a part of the stress too.
Very true.
So thank you so much. We thank you. We say thank you so much on behalf of this Congolese community. I wish that people will call you, not for what I say it loud, it will be for a different reason.
Yes.
They call for a different reason. So feel free to call the doctor. She's here for us. She just help us. So thank you, doctor, for your time. Thank you for willing help. We are in the country where everything can stress you.
Yes.
Everything. You can go, someone will show you a finger. I don't want to say what finger. They can show you a finger, which in Africa mean another thing. Coming your body language, the body language can stress someone as well.
Yeah.
I know. Yes, you see. So we have different culture. We have different people around. So everywhere we can find stress, having that's not stress me.
The gray hair.
No. So thank you so much. We thank you, Dr. Taiye. So I will let you finish the show. I'm not saying anything.
Well, I just want to say
I lost my voice.
No, well, I want to say thank you so much for letting me be on the show. I'm really excited that this is finally happening. I was excited before I moved here when I saw your information, see the work that you do, and I'm glad to be here. Two, I'm hopeful to continue working with you on this work, and then I want to thank everybody who's watching. And again, in the comments, please fill out the survey. It's only 3 questions. Well, it's 4, including your name. So,
and I will share that form in our community WhatsApp group. We have 250 people in there. If all of you just fill out, it'll be a good thing. And I will personally share with you. So now you know that I share with 51 people.
Perfect. So thank you all.
How do you say thank you in Yoruba?
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
I don't know that the way we say thank you in Yoruba, I don't know.
I don't know. I should know, but I don't know.
Okay, so thank you. That was Dr. Taiye with me.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, doctor.
Thank you so much.
Gracias. Gracias.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know Spanish.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Mucho adios.
Do you know what I was thinking?
La communauté congolaise de Champaign County.
Attention, pourquoi tu aimes seulement que les gens t'acclament?
Pour ceux qui se posent la question, où est Dieu? La réponse il est avec toi.
Vive ensemble.